Our first session for today is precision-based teleexercise. As we all know, the pandemic has demonstrated the importance of telehealth, and several presumed barriers to telehealth are being broken. And we also heard from Dr. Pratt and Dr. Rimmer about the importance of telehealth and how RERCRec has worked in these areas. So we have been in the sense RERCRec has been developing and scaling telehealth interventions for about 10 years now. So in this panel, you will hear about two of our telehealth projects that intend to make exercise available for a larger set of persons with disabilities in their home environment. I would like to introduce the panelists. Okay. Dr. Zoe Young is the Associate Director of NICPAD, and she's an exercise physiologist and a certified movement analyst with extensive training in exercise science related to physiological responses of the circulatory and muscular systems associated with various exercise forms, as well as Laban and Bartunev movement analysis. She developed and validated calibration equations that allowed researchers to measure intramuscular fat using ultrasound. The calibration equations have been referenced and utilized in the field of health and musculoskeletal ultrasound research. Her current research portfolio includes studying physiological and psychosocial effects of exercise movement interventions in people with physical disabilities, as well as the influence of movement quality on health and functional outcomes. She's the lead person designing and implementing the movement to music intervention with a framework that allows the intervention to be systematically adapted to people with a wide range of physical function. Our next panelist is Dr. Mohanraj Thirumalai. He is the co-director of RERCRecTech, and he's an health informatics researcher in the School of Health Professions at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. He is also the director of Information and Communications Technology at the UAB Lakeshore Research Collaborative. Over the last 20 years, Dr. Thirumalai has researched and developed technologies with the goal of improving the health and function of people with disabilities. He has specialized in a variety of telehealth technologies, including mobile apps, smart health coaching, telerehabilitation platform, and using artificial intelligence. Dr. Thirumalai's new line of research in the past few years focuses on chronic disease management in people with disabilities and other underserved populations. This new line of work has been funded through NIDLS Field Initiated Program, NIDLS Disability and Rehabilitation Research Program, and NIH's R01 mechanism. Dr. Thirumalai was recently awarded UAB's Faculty Innovator of the Year award in response to his pandemic-related technological innovations. Our next panelist is Dr. Tapan Mehta. Dr. Mehta is a health services researcher with several years of experience in study design, biostatistics, and data mining. He is the director of research and an associate professor in the Department of Health Service Administration at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. He directs the NIH-funded Nutrition Obesity Research Center Design Analytics Core at UAB, and also leads the statistical analysis and design core of the UAB Lakeshore Research Collaborative in the area of disability and rehabilitation sciences. His research projects include from pragmatic randomized control trials related to telehealth to analysis of large existing data sets. Dr. Mehta's research interest includes clinical, epidemiological, and health services related scientific inquiries in topics related to obesity, diabetes, disability, and rehabilitation. One of his ongoing line of research is the area of healthcare quality improvement and patient safety, especially with respect to obesity and diabetes care in primary care settings. Dr. Mehta is a principal and co-investigator and lead statistician to several research studies funded by a variety of funding agencies such as NIH, NIDLR, and PCORI. He has published in highly competitive journals such as JAMA, New England Journal of Medicine, and Obesity Reviews as first and senior author. He was recently awarded the School of Health Professions Excellence in Scholarship Award at UAB. Last but not the least, panelist Ms. Jen Allred. As a member of the senior leadership team, Ms. Allred is responsible for the development, implementation, and management of the programs of physical activity, as well as the membership programs, which annually serve thousands of individuals with physical disabilities and chronic health conditions in the Birmingham region. A 1994 graduate of the University of Dayton with a BA in communications, Ms. Allred returned to her hometown in Baltimore to work for the Mayor's Office of Special Events and later served as a marketing manager for the Kennedy Krieger Institute. Ms. Allred moved to Alabama in 2000 and has been with Lakeshore for the past 19 years. In her tenure, she has worked in the fields of development, special events, and communication for the organization. Ms. Allred has been honored to serve in a voluntary capacity as part of the communication staff for Team USA at the London 2020, Sochi 2014, Rio 2016, and Pyeongchang 2018 Paralympic Games. Ms. Allred serves on the board of the Alabama Association of Nonprofit. Let's get started with the panel. Over to you, Dr. Zoe.
Okay, well, thank you, Cindy, for the introduction, and thank you everyone again for being here. I know we have a packed agenda for the conference today, so I'm just going to go right into our presentation, okay? So again, my name is Huiju Yang, co by Zoe, and today my colleague, Dr. Mohan Dilumalai, and myself are going to present an ongoing study that we have that examines tele-exercise programs for people with spinal cord injury. Next, please. Okay, so in the previous slides, it shows the outline of our presentation, and I'm going to start just by giving a brief background on the why we do the study and the purpose statement and study design. And then I will hand it to Dr. Dilumalai to talk about the technology infrastructure that makes this study delivery possible. Okay, and we will end this presentation by showing you the current study status. So according to the National Spinal Cord Injury Statistical Center, in 2020, the estimated number of people with spinal cord injury living in the United States, approximately 296,000. I'm not going to spend time talking about the current evidence on the benefits of exercise for the spinal cord injury population today. We all know exercise is beneficial, but it remains as an underutilized strategy for improving health and function in people with spinal cord injury. There are common exercise barriers reported in this population, including and not limited to long commutes and costly transportation to and back from the facility. Also, many of the currently available exercise programs for people with spinal cord injury involve repetitive movements that might make the exercise not as enjoyable. So there's a need for effective program delivery strategies that can promote sustainable exercise behavior in people with spinal cord injury. The question for us is, can telehealth technology help address this need? Or in other words, can delivery of home-based exercise, or what we refer to as tele-exercise, promote engagement in physical activity in people with spinal cord injury? Thus, the purpose of the spinal cord injury programming exercise or SCIPE study is to examine 2 8-week tele-exercise intervention, movement to music, end-to-end, and standard exercise training set with 327 adults with spinal cord injury. So the first end of the study is to examine change in physical activity levels after 8-week end-to-end and set intervention. We hypothesize that there will be a significant increase in physical activity in end-to-end and set participants when compared to attention control post-intervention. The second end is to examine effects of end-to-end and set on health and quality of life outcomes. We hypothesize that there will be a significant increase in sleep quality and quality of life and decrease in pain and fatigue in end-to-end and set participants when compared to attention control post-intervention. We also want to explore exercise enjoyment in participants in the end-to-end and set programs. The third end is to evaluate demographic, clinical, and psychosocial variables in 2 participants groups, compliant and non-compliant participants, which we use completion of 50% of the intervention as the cut point. Next, please. Okay, the study is a 3-arm randomized control trial utilizing a sequential design and contains 2 interim analyses. So if we look at the flow chart on the right from the top, Eligible enrolled participants will be randomized into one of the 3 study arms: end-to-end, attention control AC, or SET, standard exercise training. They will go through the 8-week intervention or control period and complete assessment post-intervention at week 12 and at week 16. If we keep looking down the flow chart, okay, the 2 interim analyses are mapped with 2 phases of the study, which are the feasibility phase and then also the effectiveness phase. The first interim analysis will assess feasibility metrics of the protocol after 36 participants completed the intervention. The second interim analysis will examine 2 effectiveness comparisons, end-to-end versus attention control and SET versus attention control after 165 participants complete the intervention. The idea is that when an intervention is found to be statistically ineffective, the corresponding intervention arm will be terminated. Next, please. So the individuals are eligible to participate in the study after meeting all inclusion criteria, which include diagnosed with a spinal cord injury that is C5 or below, between ages of 18 and 65 years, demonstrate readiness to physical activity by completing the physical activity readiness questionnaire for everyone, which is the Part Q+, and obtain medical clearance if required by the Part Q+, and being able to communicate and read English. The exclusion criteria include no internet access, significant visual impairments that prevent seeing a computer screen to follow home exercise program, currently pregnant and living outside of the United States. Next, please. So participants randomized into the end-to-end and SET arms receive new exercise videos every week for 8 weeks and are asked to watch the videos and follow exercises 3 times per week. Participants in all 3 arms, end-to-end, SET, and attention control, receive new article every week for 8 weeks. Both end-to-end and SET programs are structured to target 4 fitness components. So if you look at the first column of the table, it starts with range of motion for upper and lower body, muscle strength exercise, aerobic exercise, and functional strength exercise. And each session ends with a cool down. Both programs provide the same exercise dosage. The only difference between end-to-end and SET is the exercises in end-to-end are choreographed into movement sequences that are performed with music. Both programs are adapted into 3 versions for participants who are 1, able to use both arms and legs to exercise, 2, wheelchair users with good trunk control, and 3, wheelchair users with little or no trunk control. The program are also adapted for participants who have shoulder, hip, or knee pain. Next, please. Okay, so again, all participants are asked to complete assessment at baseline post-intervention at week 12 and week 16. Each assessment includes a list of questionnaires that are delivered to participants as an electronic survey packet through RERCREC, which is our study database. The primary outcome is change in physical activity post-intervention, which is assessed with leisure time physical activity questionnaire for people with spinal cord injury. The secondary outcomes include change in pain intensity, pain interference, sleep quality, fatigue, health-related quality of life that are measured with the NIH PROMIS short forms, and exercise enjoyment. We also assess exercise adherence, self-efficacy, self-regulation, social support, outcome expectation as mediators. Okay, next please, thank you. So just a quick overview, a potential participant will complete pre-screening, a formal screening, and have medical clearance if required by the Part Q+. They will complete baseline assessment and randomize into one of the 3 arms to receive the 8-week intervention or control period. They will complete post-intervention assessments, 12-week follow-up assessment, 16-week follow-up assessment. So all these steps outlined here, except the medical clearance that requires our staff to communicate and assist with the participants about, are entirely being done online with the support of the tele infrastructure that Dr. Dilumalai will talk about in the following slides. So I will hand it to Dr. Dilumalai.
Thank you, Zoe. Hello, everyone. You're going to hear from me multiple times today, and it will be my job to catch up on the time we lost. So if you feel that I'm going too fast or you want me to slow down, please slow me down. But I have been given the task to catch up on the time we lose. So I'm going to talk about what does it take to scale up a project like this. You need to remember that this project is one among the 8 projects in our center. We always talk like this project by itself could be like a NIDLR DRIP project or a NIH R01. So to make this possible as one among 8 projects, we require a great deal of efficiency in our operations and the technology. So I'm just going to go over some of the highlights of our stack of technology here. This is not a demo of the intervention. So all participants come to a landing website. A landing website is can also be called as the marketing website. So we recruit through a variety of sources through our national center, NICPAD. You will hear about NICPAD later in the day, social media channels and so on. And so everywhere we recruit, people come to this landing website. You can visit it. It is skype.org. There'll be a wonderful video there. And then you can learn all about the study, and then the participants register here. Once they start the process, to again reduce the manual work involved, we complete the pre-screening in a separate website. Here we verify people's identity, email, and then you would have seen some requirements we had, inclusion exclusion criteria. We want to make sure the user has a broadband internet access. And then we want to make sure they have an adequate browser. We cannot work with a 1995 computer. So all of those things are taken care by this pre-screening website, thereby eliminating a lot of manual work. Then the participant is moved on to our RERCREC system, which is our data management system. So the RERCREC system keeps pulling data from our pre-screening website and automatically moves the person to the screening stage. And if medical clearance is required due to the PARQ, that is when a human gets involved. If not, all of our workflow is heavily automized, and the participant keeps on moving to the next stage. Finally, once the randomization is complete and all of the baseline data collection is complete, study staff enrolls the participant into our actual intervention site. Until then, the participant doesn't know where the intervention site is. And once the participant moves on to the intervention site, the intervention is available as an app or a website. You saw the detailed decision support used to deliver exercise videos to the participants. So the personalized videos are delivered on a weekly basis. There are weekly articles provided, reminder emails, badges for motivation. Users can comment on videos, what they liked and they didn't like, and we have some social networking features. In interest of time, I'm not going to show you a full demonstration of the intervention website, but I would like to show some of the backend capabilities our staff use. So this is, for example, login adherence management interface our staff have access to. So here they can exactly see who has logged in on a weekly basis. If they didn't log in, did they try to log in, and did they have a password problem, and all sorts of things. And then they can proactively reach out to the people who need assistance, but at the same time be able to handle the ambitious sample size we have. Again, here I'm showing some options from our admin dashboards menu. I'm not going to go over every feature. Our staff are able to manage all of the applications coming through. Our staff are able to moderate all of the content being posted. Our staff are able to monitor what article is being read, what pages in the intervention are being used or not being used, what videos are being watched or not being watched, so that once we complete our pilot stage or interim analysis, if there is a necessity to improve anything, we are able to. And here you see that all of the content delivered to the through the platform is completely managed by our non-technical staff. And so our platform enables very smooth operations once we launch the project. So the development portion of it also included an usability testing phase. Usability testing was done independently by a student who's a master's in health informatics, focusing on user experience. And so they performed what is known as a heuristic evaluation and also post-intervention surveys and interviews. And the interviews not only cover the technology aspects of it, all the process that the end user is aware of. Were you happy with the recruitment process? Were you happy with this? And so on. And also interviewing our internal staff to see where can we optimize our procedures post the pilot phase of the study. So here are some quick high-level findings. I'm not going to show you every finding. Our current version of the technology, if you see here, 100% of people agree or strongly agree that the intervention is very easy to use. Skype is easy for me. Similarly, I'm comfortable with the ability to use. About 80% say that they are comfortable with their ability to use. And similarly, easy for me to use, again, about 80%. And then moving on, we have conducted extensive interviews with our pilot participants. People love that the app is simple. It's very easy to navigate. There is video auto captioning provided everywhere. People can bookmark their favorite videos and visit it back. Even after the intervention has ended, people can come back and keep doing the activity. That is something people really enjoy from this. And then there were also some improvements which were pointed out to us. A few participants were feeling that I already have 100 different social networking apps on my phone. I don't need one more social networking app. And then people wanted text reminders, and some people had concerns with time zones. And then in our movement to music intervention, we tailor the videos for their functional capabilities, but users are not able to choose their choice of music. That was again something noted. So all of these feedback will be taken back to the drawing board at the end of the pilot phase, which is probably a few months or something away. And then we will do all these improvements and we'll be launching up the next phase of the study. And I will now hand it over to Zoe to finish us off. Oops. Oh, there is a video. Just give me, sorry. Okay, Zoe, you can take it up.
Yes, thank you, Mohan. So again, the study is still ongoing. And if we look at the flow chart right here, up till yesterday, the study assessed 60 individuals for eligibility. And there are 28 participants enrolled and randomized, with 10 randomized into the end-to-end, 9 in SET, and 9 in attention control. So I'm not going to go into detail with the numbers here because we have a testimonial videos that we would like to show y'all. That's like participants' experience they have had by participating in the Skype program. Okay, so next, please.
I've been disabled pretty much all my life as a result of neuroblastoma of the spine when I was 8 months old. Skype was actively seeking persons with disabilities to participate in the Skype study to help improve overall fitness of the individual. individuals with disabilities. I felt that the app was very easy to go ahead and use. It helped to have exercises that are specifically geared toward wheelchair users to help maintain your strength and endurance as we go about our day living independently. The most positive experience is that as a wheelchair users, we're not alone. I highly recommend the Skype program for any person with a disability.
Being able to do the workouts from home with the weights that were sent to me by you guys were extremely helpful in helping me stay fit. And I definitely think I would recommend it because it helped me so much. One thing that it consistently stressed is how important it is to stay strong and exercise as much as possible. And I think that the Skype program is a great resource to do so.
What I liked was the format of the video available anytime I'm in my office or outside on my tablet or laptop and have the freedom to move around and do the exercises. It was really convenient. One of my favorites was the stretching exercise. It became my favorite thing to do. And it just felt good because we sit a lot of the day. And if we get out of our chairs and sit on the couch or lay on the couch, it was just nice to feel the stretch and all that I had missed for so long. The aerobics, everything, to me, I just feel better. And after the workout, even as they got longer and longer, it was just a feeling of accomplishment. And it was just a great experience.
I've been disabled pretty much.
All right, that is our contact information and our protocol published, which Zoe spoke about. And this project would not be possible without contributions from so many people. So thank you for all the Skype team members. Moving ahead, I'm going to rush through to move on to our next presentation. Please note that there's a question and answer session at the end of this theme. And so both of the topics will be combined for the question and answer session. So I'm going to talk about our project called Precise. Precise stands for Precision-Based Recreation and Exercise in Community Inclusive Settings and Environments. So originally, as proposed in our grant, Project D1 was a development project to create an exercise decision support tool as a proof of concept, and R1 intended to test the feasibility and efficacy of this a precise decision support tool. When we refer to precision-based exercise, it involves bringing in evidence from published literature, such as ACSM guidelines and all other publications out there, and then bringing in all of the constructs of the person with disability. And so their demographics, their functional profile, their behavioral profile, and their environmental preferences. Some people prefer to work out alone. Some people want to work out in a group setting. Some people prefer to work out in the morning, some people in the nights, and so on. And this project was intended to be deployed as a kiosk at Lakeshore Foundation. So all of this is then connected through a rules-based engine through all of the programs offered at Lakeshore Foundation. And we aim to improve the ambulation capabilities of our participants. So these are the two publications which came out during the early phase of the grant. The first one is about a summary paper which reviews the guidelines for people with multiple sclerosis, stroke, and Parkinson's disease. It brings together all the evidence published thus far. And then the preferences from our user base and exercise trainers and what they would like to see in such a system. And this was all pre-COVID. And then COVID came, there was a lockdown for several months. It was just not clear when will everything open back. And we had to really pivot. And one thing was for sure, the world is surely changing. All operations are going to change. And there was a very high need for live online fitness classes offered by fitness centers such as inclusive fitness centers such as Lakeshore Foundation. So we took that as an opportunity because this really provides a complementary business model for inclusive fitness centers such as Lakeshore Foundation. So it aligns with our larger mission of making inclusive fitness available to all people at all places. So then we moved on to what we would call as Precise 2.0. However, it created its own limitations in the sense we cannot make use of like the 50 or so programs offered in person at Lakeshore. When you want to offer it online, there can only be a small sampling of classes. And then if that particular class is not suitable for an individual, it is impossible to offer a one-on-one class for every single person without you having a critical mass and things like that. But despite all these limitations, we see Precise 2.0 as the essential fabric for a precision-based exercise platform wherein we connect to people's behavioral profile, their needs, and towards what we would call as a more precise future. That said, you are looking at the screenshot of Lakeshore Online Fitness. This program was launched about 2 to 3 weeks back. It's located at fitness.lakeshore.org. Before the launch of it, we conducted extensive usability testing with Lakeshore members to understand what works and what doesn't work. The research component of it will be explained by my colleague, Dr. Mehta. But at a very high level, the research component is designed to be opt-in, in the sense every Lakeshore member can use this platform. But if a member opts in for research, then we offer some additional capabilities through the platform. We offer text reminders, incentives, coaching calls, and additional targeted videos. And our platform is tightly integrated with the Zoom API. Thereby, it's not only a benefit for the participants, but also benefit for the staff who have to manage and man the classes on a daily basis. And all classes include a post-class feedback. So we can, Lakeshore and the research team can learn what classes work or what classes do people like, what classes do they not like, how is the instructor performing, and all sorts of other details. So here are a couple of quick screenshots. This is the screenshot from that of a person who opted in for research. The participant can see their progress through the study. They can see how much more exercise they have to engage in, either joining a Zoom session or watching recorded videos, and when they will be able to redeem it for an incentive, how many classes they recorded, and how many classes they have attended. And then every class offered is readily available for the participants. Participants are able to register, and a join link shows up at the right time. Moving on, here again, more than the front end facing features, we put a lot of focus on the back end facing features to make all of this possible. So this is all of the options available to our research team. And this is all of the options available to the Lakeshore team to manage classes, to manage the articles, to manage the videos, approving members who apply for the platform, and so on. I told you that we offer coaching as an add-on for the people who opted in for the research component. This is really to see how can offering coaching in addition just to the live classes enhance online fitness class experience. So what you're seeing here is actually 2 screenshots from our coaching panel. So coaches are able to quickly take notes about the problems or situations participants are experiencing, keep note of whether they were able to talk with the participant or not, make open-end notes, and the complete user history is available to a coach. So the coach is able to see exactly what video did the user watch, exactly what Zoom class did they attend, how many emails they got, how many text messages they got, and all sorts of information is made available at the fingertip to the coaches. So moving ahead, I will hand it over to my colleague, Dr. Mehta, to continue.
Thank you, Dr. Thirumalai. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. So I will try to speed up. I know Dr. Thirumalai has covered some of the things that will be following in this presentation. Basically, I think we had to, as he indicated, we had to pivot. And our original trial design was very much a randomized control design and had two phases. One was feasibility phase and a pilot phase. And we moved it more towards a non-randomized pragmatic trial. What I mean by that is essentially we are working very closely with our partners, Lakeshore Foundation, to assess the usefulness and the effectiveness of the program, of the platform. And while doing that, what we also wanted to accomplish, or what we want to accomplish, is also help them in their evaluation efforts. So what this figure is trying to really establish here is that in addition to thinking in terms of research, we are also trying to facilitate and help work with Lakeshore Foundation to help them in any evaluation efforts. And although there are some overlapping although there are some overlapping aspects to it, clearly there are we have in our platform distinguished between participants who have consented for research and those who are still going to benefit from the platform but are not participating in the research. And so the goal here is to recruit at least 60 Lakeshore members who consent and are willing to participate in the research side of the Precise platform. It's an 8-week intervention program. And I think about this as a pragmatic multiple cohort trial, not a randomized trial, but a cohort trial where, we have all the members, we want to make this as inclusive as possible. All the Lakeshore members have the ability to join. And in some cases, those who choose not to join the research, we still will be able to help and work with Lakeshore and help them answer any questions they have about which videos were watched more, which were the programs that were virtually offered that were favorable in terms of the post-class survey. And from a research side, building on to next phase of the trial. So next. So here's a brief overview. Participants log into the system Dr. Thirumalai's team has developed. There's a brief questionnaire, and then based on the eligibility and consenting, on the left hand, you would see that there is a welcome page and a pre-intervention survey starts. Those who choose not to opt or are not eligible basically are part of the Lakeshore program, and that virtual offering is still available to them. For the research participants are encouraged to accumulate 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week, followed by a brief survey every class. And then the research team will monitor the progress on a weekly basis. For participants who are logging in every week and attending and participating in the classes, what we would in our research language would call they are adhering or responders. They basically continued through the program for 8 weeks and are followed up with a post-intervention survey. For those who express a lack of interest or have difficulty or any other barriers, because the research team is monitoring the progress, the research team will reach out to them. There are two basically intensification protocols. One is offering them new series of recorded videos that they may be interested more in watching. Maybe they are having difficulty attending the classes because of the schedule and so on. So maybe that's one option. And then there are up to 3 coaching calls that these participants can benefit. This is more from a behavioral point of view to motivate them. In addition, all of these participants are eligible if they opt in to receive text message reminders and nudges, again, in a way, a behavioral nudge to improve adherence. Next. The instruments surveys that we are going to capture, this is again, we went from being this a very heavy research project to something where we can make this also inclusive and more enjoyable for all Lakeshore members. So the focus of the instruments was to balance both of those aspects. So we have the health history form, which the Lakeshore Foundation collects from all of its members. And so this is, these data are technically available for both research and non-research participants. And then we are having the Godin Leisure Time Physical Activity Questionnaire that's a self-reported measure of physical activity, reason for exercise, and then the social cognitive theory constructs, which are self-efficacy, outcome expectations, exercise goals, and also the SF36, health to estimate the health-related quality of life, and also specific domain-specific scores. Finally, post-class survey, which is again, that is something offered to both the research and non-research participants after the class, after they attend the class. So these are all the surveys that we have currently implemented in this. In terms of analysis, the goal is to really use the survey data to estimate effect size from a research point of view. We, as Dr. Thirumalai showed, have also video, and we'll have text message data. So in a way, we will have data around viewing and behavior. And one of my interest area is around learning behavior through these data. And that's where Dr. Rimmer and Dr. Thirumalai have kind of alluded that we want to develop a system where we can use these data to build algorithms, rules that can make the interventions more adaptive. It is adaptive right now because those who are not responsive or those who are not able to attend, we are providing them pre-recorded videos as well as the coaching calls. But how do we make this further driven through data? That's where I think some of these data sources on video data, coaching call data, and process data would be useful. Even coaching call data we have the ability to transcribe and potentially do some natural language processing, sentiment analysis on the qualitative data that we hear. And so there is a lot of opportunity to learn from these data sources and build the next version, or if I may say, the version we were intending to build right from our go before COVID hit. So next slide. So I'm coming back to this version that Dr. Thirumalai indicated. We were interested in, we are still very much interested, and the way we think about our current phase is that this is serving an immediate and important need of having virtual programs for members and working with our close partner Lakeshore Foundation to facilitate that. But we will also learn from these data to build algorithms. They could be rule-based or they could be much more analytic in nature, but things that would help us take some of the things we learned and have published in the first two manuscripts that Dr. Thirumalai indicated in his slides, coupled with these data to build a precise platform that takes into account demographics, functional profile, behavioral profile, and environmental preferences. And in addition to virtual and in-person offerings that hopefully will be, we'll be able to move towards soon. So that's really where this project we wanted to move towards, and how we think about this current phase will help us with. Next. I think that's, yeah. So in terms of the findings, we are very early on in this stage, have recruited, actually we have recruited 16 participants. We had one new participant join the program yesterday. At Wednesday, the count was at 15. And so you can see that the Godine score is, the median Godine score is 15. A score at or below 24 is considered to be, requiring further physical activity or, sedentary behavior. So I think that we have participants out of 15, more than 50% are in that, in that category. And so we'll be watching those participants even more closely in terms of when we do our data analysis. The self-efficacy score is 5.89 and goal setting is 27. So these are very early numbers. Almost all participants, if not all, are women. So again, how do we encourage and how do we bring more men participants also, engage them, and learning from this phase around some of those aspects would also be important. The scores for efficacy, self-efficacy, and goal setting are typically the higher the score, the better it is. But I just wanted to give you a very overall sense of where things are right now. And within 2.5 weeks, we already have 16 participants in the program, which is very encouraging. Next. I think Dr. Jen Allred will be presenting this, and thank you.
Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here today. I hope that what you've picked up on as you've listened to my colleagues talk about PRECISE is the true collaboration that has existed in this project, from PRECISE 1.0 to the pivot we made to PRECISE 2.0 as the pandemic shifted how we delivered programs. I often get asked how we truly collaborate, and this project to me is an incredible demonstration of how groups with different backgrounds can come together and put together a project and really think through, how does this work well for the people delivering programs, so the program staff who are out there every day delivering programs for both virtually and on-site, and how does it achieve some of our research goals so there's a sustainability to the project so we continue to learn. We've done an incredible job, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. As I listened to Dr. Forber-Pratt talk today about the fear that virtual adaptations would begin to fade away as we moved through the pandemic, I would say that I sat here thinking, I'm so pleased that really, again, a hallmark of this project is to really build a base that we can learn from so that our virtual interventions are ones that are here to stay. And so I'm thrilled about this. Our members too are thrilled. As we have continued to deliver virtual programs over the last year, we have learned that our members really want to see these type of programs. They want them to be brought where they are. As you heard Dr. Forber-Pratt talk about barriers to participation, transportation is a very real barrier across this country. And so how can we address that? A way is to make sure that we have virtual interventions. So our members have loved this, and I think they have also really loved that this platform is built on listening. We really want to look at what they like, what they don't like, what's impactful, and that we're taking that information in. And because of the way our collaboration is structured, we can be learning all the time and continue to make adaptations that they can see that as they are sharing with us their feedback, we can make changes. And so I think it is, again, just a wonderful demonstration. So as you've heard, we just launched 2 weeks ago. We have heard lots of good feedback about the project, and I'm confident that it is going to shape the way that not only Lakeshore Foundation delivers programs, but other providers across the country, as they continue to figure out ways to deliver virtual programs, can learn from, and that is part of our mission as well. So great start to this project. And I know that a year from now, as we are deeper into it, we will be able to tell you even more about all of the impacts it's made.
Thank you so much, Ms. Aldred. Again, this is our wonderful team members, without whom we couldn't have come so far.